morning, everyone. Before I start my talk, let me introduce you to two of my best friends, Charlie and Greg. Charlie is that guy who compares everything. If I asked him for coffee, he'd Google up the best coffee shop in a 30-mile radius. If I mention a simple beach trip, boom, I've triggered his travel flex. He'll be like, oh yeah? I went to a beach in Fiji. The sand, it's actually made of crushed diamonds. And the ocean is so clear, you could see a future. Charlie, bro, we're talking about a weekend getaway, not a National Geographic documentary. And then there's Greg. Greg is the type of guy who's just happy with whatever he's got. If you ask him, hey, how's life? He'd respond with something like, I'm just happy to be alive, rocking my favorite stained t-shirt and eating cereal for dinner. Greg once bought a car, not because it had a good offer, good mileage, or even if it ran smoothly, but because of a bumper sticker which said, it's not fast, it's not flashy, but it's mine, and I like it. That's Greg in a nutshell. His motto? If it works for him, it's perfect. Let me tell you, Greg, he's living his best life, immune to the very concept of comparison. Here's the deal. Charlie's over there, trying to win the world's most impressive person of the year award by comparing everything to something else. While Greg's over here, enjoying his life, sipping his favorite coffee, and watching his favorite show. And let me tell you, Greg, I think he's onto something. Charlie, well, the first thing Charlie does when he wakes up is grab his phone, like it's his life support. He scrolls through social media like it's a competition to see who can have the most perfect life. He's always like, oh, look at that. That guy ran 3 miles. He made a smoothie with ingredients I can't even pronounce. Great. I'm already behind, and I haven't even brushed my teeth yet. Charlie, bro, it's 7 a.m. Can you just chill and enjoy the rest of your day? How many of you, like Charlie, wake up, stretch, instinctively reach for your phone, and start scrolling? Be honest, raise your hand. Okay, imagine this. The familiar glow lighting up your face, the early morning light. You begin scrolling, half awake, as your feed fills with the snapshot of other people's lives. Maybe it's an engagement, a marriage, a brand new car, a new house, or your friend's TED Talk. Perhaps it's a career achievement or a milestone you always dreamed of achieving. Whatever it is, for a moment, their lives, it seems to be unfolding perfectly. You keep scrolling. But then, a sinking feeling hits your chest. That quiet weight of doubt. You glance at your own life, your own path, your own choices. Then you ask yourself, is this it? Am I enough? Am I doing enough? Do I even belong here? Sounds familiar? This little echo of doubt, he doesn't care how old you are, how many cups of coffee you've had, or where you are at life. You could be young, fresh out of college, full of energy, but absolutely no idea on what you want to do next. Or you could be knee-deep in your career, trying to juggle Zoom calls, Google Meets, family, ambition, pretending to have your life together, wondering if you've made the right choices, or if you're one choice away from going bankrupt. Or you could be in the end of your journey, looking back at both the triumphs and regrets, wondering if you've made the most with your time. Wherever you are, comparison, it's going to sneak in. It's going to taunt you. It's going to remind you of things you haven't yet achieved and cast out the things you've actually nailed. And that's when it hits you, like a reality check. Why does everyone else's life seem to be so perfect? Why am I always a few steps behind? It's almost like there's this invisible pressure which causes people to measure up to the lives of others. But here's the plot twist. Comparison doesn't just steal your joy. It's more like a thief. It breaks in, steals your authenticity, and runs away. Okay, it didn't steal my money, my gold, or even my kids. It just stole this authenticity. What even is this? Authenticity is the very essence of what makes you, you, and me, me. It's the part of you that's okay with eating ketchup and dosa and still feel like a functioning human being. So let's start with something we all know to be true. How many of you are on social media? Be honest, raise your hands. All of you. Social media is a highlight reel. I know. It sounds like one of those cliches you hear all the time. But stick with me. When we scroll through social media, we come across polished moments. A perfect vacation in Bali, a brand new house, a fancy new car, or the so-called perfect dinner. All these pictures have an untold story. To better explain this, I'm going to bring up an example. A country, Nigeria, the country I was raised up in. Nigeria is often hailed as Africa's largest economy, and it's a striking example of how appearances can be deceiving. Its substantial GDP of $500 billion paints it to be prosperous, backed by its economic growth and abundant natural resources. But reality, like always, is far more complex. I can't help but see the country is so underdeveloped, poverty-stricken, and plagued with corruption. Social media in Nigeria shows you the success, not the real struggle faced by the nation. Whether it's Nigeria, a perfect vacation in Bali, or a brand new car, what people tend to miss is what goes on behind the scenes. The last-minute stress to keep up with appearances, the frantic combing of the hair, the 37 attempts to get the lighting right, or the 50 selfies before that one made it to your feed. But somehow Charlie, he remains blind to all of this. All he sees is the glossy photos, the polished surface, and then he feels the pressure to measure up. And just like that, Charlie is measuring himself to an illusion. One swipe at a time. But here's where comparison, it turns sneaky. It doesn't just distract you. No, it diminishes you. The more you stack your lives against someone else's, the more you chip away at your own sense of worth. The things that once made you feel proud now feel small, insignificant, and just not good enough. But here's the truth. You are perfect just the way you are. Not when you achieve more, not when you chase someone else's version of more. Right now, exactly as you are. Because the moment you stop looking outwards for this so-called validation and start looking inwards for confidence, you realize something powerful. You were never meant to live someone else's life. You were meant to live your own life. So how do I do it? How do I escape from this comparison trap? How do I escape the illusion of perfection? 3 simple phases. Phase 1, embrace uniqueness. To make this concept easier, I'm going to tell you a story about someone famous. And I want you to guess who it is. This guy was born in 1879. As a kid, he didn't talk much, probably because he was too busy contemplating the very nature of time and space itself. When he went to school, he didn't memorize facts. Because of this, his teachers called him slow. His classmates called him dumb, stupid, and even autistic. As he grew older, comparison grew along. When he applied for a job as a professor, he got rejected. But he didn't let this failure define him. No, he worked as a patent clerk, developing his theories in his spare time. And eureka! In 1905, he published not 1, Not two, but four groundbreaking papers, including the theory of relativity. One, by the way, his hair totally out of control. His mustache, legendary. He loved being awkward at parties and hated wearing suits, but somehow still changed the course of history. Any guesses on who this genius is? Louder! Yes! Einstein taught us that the biggest discoveries happen when you stop following the crowd, when you deviate, follow your own path, your own vision, when absolutely no one has faith in you. Now, let's be honest, Einstein didn't fit in the typical mold. He was crazy. Look at him. He was different. And that's exactly what changed the course of history. It's okay to be different. It might be just what the world needs. So, if we're going to talk about how to redefine success, it's about time we stop following the conventional path and start defining success on our own terms. And with that, we move on to step 2, redefine success. Let's take a moment and ask ourselves, what is success? For years, we've been told that success meant having a big house, lots of cars, and even more property. But who's got the time for all of that? What if success for me is following my own path, even if that path involves Googling how to cook rice? I still don't know. Success is personal. It's about waking up and not hating your life. It's about embracing the small stuff and realizing that maybe, just maybe, your dream job doesn't have to involve you wearing a suit every single day. So go out there. Stop comparing yourself to other people's perfect lifestyles. Start embracing the weird, quirky, perfectly imperfect versions of success. Because one can only find true success when he finds happiness. One awkward moment at a time. And this is where gratitude, it takes a step in. The moment we start appreciating where we are instead of where we should be, life becomes a lot more fun. And with that, we move on to the last step, gratitude. It sounds simple, almost too simple. Yet, it's a game changer. For years, Charlie kept comparing himself to Greg. Let's be honest, has life figured out? Greg isn't worrying about what his next meal was going to be or what he's going to wear tomorrow. He wasn't comparing himself to that one kid who hits a centum every single time. He was just living his life. While Charlie, he was stressing about the fact that his Wi-Fi is worse than my haircut, or how his plants kept dying. But then one day, fed up with this constant frustration, he approached Greg. And Greg told him one thing. Charlie, write down 3 things you're grateful for every single day. And Charlie did so. At first, it felt trivial. It felt boring. But as time went on, he realized something powerful. The more he felt grateful towards what he had in his life, the less he compared himself to Greg. And this is where gratitude flips your perspective from scarcity to abundance, envy to appreciation, and self-doubt to straight-up confidence. Suddenly, Charlie wasn't thinking, why don't I have that? He was thinking, I have a couch that's basically a second home, Wi-Fi that's almost okay, and lots of leftovers. That's success. Once Charlie started noticing these small wins, he realized that it's impossible to feel less than someone when you're very much aware and in love with every single aspect of your lives. Gratitude isn't just a feel-good practice. It's a shield. And when you make it a habit, comparison stands no chance. The next time Charlie found himself thinking, why don't I have that? Remembers all the small wins. And Greg, he was just out there, living his life, having no idea Charlie's having his thank you for Wi-Fi moment. And that, folks, is the power of gratitude. So what's the big takeaway? Life isn't about who gets the top first. It's about enjoying the climb, preferably with snacks, and a few questionable decisions here and there. So never compare yourself to Greg's or anyone else's perfect lifestyle. Because let's be honest, it's far from perfect. And remember, success, it's a lot more fun when you're not running alone. And if you're lucky, you'll have a Charlie or a Greg by your side, laughing at your mistakes and making the journey a lot more memorable. At the end of the day, breaking free from this comparison trap isn't about downplaying the success of others. It's about understanding that your journey is just as unique, just as trustworthy, and just as important as anyone else's. It's about knowing that the only person you should ever compare yourself to was the person you were yesterday. Because that's the only competition that truly matters. And remember, your life was never meant to be a replica, a second-hand version of someone else's dream. It's an original, unfolding in real time. So go out there, make your life bold, make it messy, make it yours, and more importantly, make it authentic. Thank you.